Alright, it's Freddy here. Welcome to another video. Today's topic is why so many content creators out there struggle to make real money from their content. You see this guy, it's probably you right here. It's probably you on a regular basis stressing about why you're getting thousands upon thousands, maybe even millions of views every single month, but you're barely making any money to make this content thing full time. Alright, I'm about to get into it. So, a lot of people, well, I should say, a lot of content creators are obsessed with views, likes, and engagement metrics, the vanity numbers. Now, that's not to say that vanity numbers aren't important. You obviously want to make sure that your engagement is, high. But what's more important than that is it feels is making sure that obviously your content, your views and stuff are getting to the right people, right? You've heard it all before, but I'm going to explain it in more detail in this video. So posting feels good, getting the views feels good, and going viral and getting a bunch of likes, that all feels good, right? But at the end of the day, like, none of that actually pays the bills, right? Views don't pay the bills, comments don't pay the bills, likes don't pay the bills, right? Consuming, people are consuming your content and not paying, like, that isn't paying the bills. Okay, so yeah, this is probably you when you get a viral video, but hey, you go straight back to this when you figure out, and you realize that it's not actually making you much money. Okay, so that's kind of why a lot of creators are trapped, right? They start creating content for the algorithm, they start dancing for the algorithm, right? They start being a slave to the algorithm, posting many times a day, trying to go viral, trying to appeal to the masses, or for the widest audience possible. But the key is that the wider that you go with your audience, the more diluted your message becomes, because you're literally trying to target so many different people at the same time, right? Think of it like this, right? If you're kind of using like a shower head, right, or a gun, for example. This is a better example, like a gun. You're going to have more precision. You're gonna have more of a impact with your shot if you're using like a sniper targeting people directly, right, rather than a flipping machine gun or like a shotgun that like sprays pellets everywhere, right? So you want to think that way with your content. Having really broad targeting with your content isn't the best thing that you want to do, right? And if you want to attract high paying clients, this is very important. High paying clients will only pay you if they feel like you understand their issues more than they understand them themselves, right? Listen to that again. High paying clients will only pay you if they feel like you understand their issues better than they understand them themselves. Okay? So if your content is broad, if it's the messaging is off, if you're not speaking directly to who you want to target, that's probably why you aren't getting the sales that you want. Okay? So that's kind of what I'm going to get into in this video. Right? It's not about how many people see your content, it's about who is seeing your content. Now, one thing that kind of I can kind of remember is I was on a call with one of my clients recently, and she has quite a big audience. She gets pretty good views and engagement. But recently, on one of our catch-up calls, she said, "Oh, well, I'm starting to get a little bit worried about the engagement. It's starting to go down. Like, I grew so much in such a short period of time over the last few months, but now it's kind of slowed down. I've kind of seen it go down a little bit, decrease the follow count, and now it's like a lot lower." But I literally just asked her, like, okay, that's cool, but like, let me ask you a question. Are you not making more money than you were making when you first started working with me? She was like, yeah. I was like, okay, so it's cool. Like, I totally get it. Like, you wanting to make sure that your engagement is there and all that stuff. You know, you want potential brand deals and all that stuff. But believe me when I say all the brand deals in the world won't be worth it if you absolutely cook your audience and you're not able to fully take advantage of getting a high ticket offer out of them, right? Or building an high ticket offer from them, right? You need to think very, very long term with your content, because I promise you, if you think that way, you will get paid so much more money. I promise you that. All right. So think about the long term positioning of your brand, who exactly you want to see your content, what type of people they are, what they do for work, what they do every day, what kind of problems they have, right? What kind of roadblocks they're facing, and speak directly to that. Don't speak to the masses, okay? So, while your views are important, it's more about who is seeing it, not how many people, right? Because if your audience is made up of the right people, people who actually want, need, and can afford your offer, that's very important, can afford your offer, no amount of content is going to magically turn them to clients, right? So if your client base, or sorry, your audience base is people that are like in middle school, and you try and sell them a high ticket offer, you're not going to get very far, right? So yeah, that's the main reason for it. So in this video, I'm actually going to break down and show you a simple test that you can run right now to diagnose whether your content is actually attracting the right audience, and if it's not, I'll actually walk you through exactly how to fix it so you can start generating real business from your content. Alright, so here's the core issue, okay? Most content creators are playing the game wrong. Okay, they're chasing virality instead of focusing on attracting qualified leads who can actually turn into paying clients. Okay, and they're constantly thinking, okay, how do I get more reach? How do I get more people to follow me? How do I get more people to engage in my content? But here's the truth, right? Views don't pay your rent. Clients do. Clients pay your rent. And here's where most people run into problems. They create content that's too broad, too general, too safe, right? Trying to appeal to as many people as possible, right? They want to feel good about their page. They want to feel good about having 100k followers, when in reality they're making less than $1,000 a month from their content, right? Which is crazy, by the way. There's a few content creators out there. Right? For example, one of my clients, Matthew, he's an Airbnb coach. I've mentioned him in a few videos. He has about 2,000 followers, and he's making, 15, 20k a month right now, right? From his offer with 2,000 followers. Can you imagine? Right? So it's more important to have the right people watching your content than, how many people. So when you do that, you end up speaking to everyone and no one at the same time. Okay? Because if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. Yeah, and when your messaging is too generic, it doesn't actually create urgency or connection with the people who are actually going to invest, right? And you might be seeing likes, you might be having people leave comments, you might even be growing your audience, but if those people aren't qualified, if they're not the right fit for your offer, your content isn't really doing its job, which is supposed to be bringing in more paying clients, right? And the gap is, that's the gap we're going to help you close here, right? So I want to make it super practical for you. So you don't have to guess if your content is attracting the right people. You can actually test it with the simple test I'm going to give you. And here's the simple experiment you can run right now. So you want to go to your Instagram stories and post a basic poll. You want to ask something like, something simple and low friction, get people to, take part as easily as possible. Say, hey, what does everyone do for a living? Just curious to learn more about you guys. And then you just let the poll run and see who responds to it. Once you get responses, you want to pay attention to who's engaging, right? And you want to have conversations with these people. You want to start having conversations with them. Ask follow-up questions and find out what they do, what their biggest struggles are, and what they're actively trying to achieve right now. So here's the key part, right? If most of the people responding aren't anywhere near your ideal client, if they're not struggling with the problems that you solve, or they're not in the position to actually invest into something, that's a massive signal that your content isn't speaking directly to your target market, right? Because when your target content is aligned, you speak to the right people naturally, right? The right people naturally reveal themselves, right? They engage with your content, they DM you, they ask you questions, they tell you that something is wrong and then they're struggling, and exactly the thing that you can help with, right? And if that's not happening, that's your sign that your messaging needs work. Okay, so let's go over how you can actually fix this. So if your audience isn't filled with the people that are qualified to buy from you, you need to just adjust your messaging so it filters for the right people. Okay, so here's how you actually do it. Number one, be ultra specific about who you're talking to. General content attracts general attention. Be specific, and you will get specific qualified buyers, right? And instead of saying things like, oh, how, here's how you get more clients, say, here's how online coaches, okay, the type of person you're trying to attract, can consistently, what do online coaches want, right? This is just me speaking from experience, speaking to online coaches. It's me doing research on you guys, right? What do you guys want? Consistency, right? Book high ticket clients without sales calls, right? This is a very, very attractive content thesis, right? What do coaches want? Online coaches want consistency, high ticket clients, high ticket deals, not having to deal with a bunch of clients that are paying low ticket, only having to deal with a handful that are paying very high prices, and without sales calls. What do a lot of online coaches hate? Sales, right? A lot of coaches hate sales. They just want to do fulfillment, right, and get paid a lot of money to do so. But that aside, this is a very good example of how you can structure your offer statements so you can structure your content better and your messaging better. And the more narrowly you define your audience and speak directly to their situation, the stronger your connection becomes with the right people. Because if you're one of the only people speaking around that specific problem that people have, or that specific type of person, you will be seen instantly as an authority. Okay, so the second thing is language. Use your language that speaks to buyers and not just viewers. Okay, so broad advice attracts people that are just browsing and not buying. Okay, serious buyers, people who are actually looking to buy, are looking for outcomes, results, and ROI. Right? Anyone that works with me will tell you that I am very, very key, or very, very hyper focused on getting as much social proof out in your brand as possible. And also, when you get a good result for a client, milking the hell out of that case study, making a ton of content about it, because then you're just putting more reasons out there as to why people should buy from you. Okay, so for example, instead of saying how to grow your audience, right, say how to turn your small audience into consistent 10K months without paid ads, right? This is another example of how you can improve your messaging, right? Talk about outcomes, result, and return on investment when it comes to a simple concept like growing your audience, right? People only care about what people care about. They don't care about what you care about. They care about what they care about. Make people incentivized to actually engage with you and actually buy from you. Okay? You also want to speak to the transformation that they actually want and not just the process. So the third thing is you want to show proof that your method works, right? This ties into my some of my last point when I was talking about social proof. You want to have irrefutable proof, essentially. You want to have irrefutable proof that what you teach actually works. So a way you can do that is, people who are serious about investing want to see advice. So you can share real world case studies, right? Client wins and transformations. Anytime you get a client win, please, 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 if you have the permission from the client, share the hell out of that, milk the hell out of that transformation, right? Or client win, depending on how big it is, obviously. But yeah, and another thing that I'm getting a lot of my clients to do is make client documentaries. So when one of my clients brings on a client for their program, I tell them, yo, if you think you can get this person very, very good results, document the entire process on a high level. Like obviously don't show anything too personal, or don't show anything that would put your program at risk in terms of like people just getting the same info as your paid clients. But you want to do it at a very high level so people can understand what's going on, have very good storytelling, all that stuff. So you literally vlog yourself every day. I'll probably have a video like this from what I'm explaining out soon. But sorry. But yeah, like literally just film yourself, vlog yourself, be like, yeah, so I just, brought on so and so's name. Super excited to have them on. I know I can get them great results. And every day or so, every time there's a new update, you just film yourself. You don't have to post anything, but you can just save the vlogs literally on your phone. And like, when it's time to post it, when you got them a really good result, you just craft the video from all the vlogs, obviously put your own spin on it, and then post it. Okay, that's a very good way. I've barely seen anyone talk about or anyone try to actually get people to truly believe in your offer and what you have to teach. So, for example, at the end of this video, I'll share a quick breakdown of how I helped one of my clients go from $600 a month to $24,000 a month in just 1 month using this exact framework. This is a call to action that I've used in some of my videos, and it's a way for me to kind of build credibility, build trust, tell people, okay, this is what I do, and it actually works for people, right? And when I do this and speak, in technical language, when I'm going through the case study, people that are naturally like going to buy or in the market to buy will reveal themselves. Okay, so from here you want to build trust. Okay, this is what this does, right? It builds trust, and trust actually converts, right? So when you start creating content that's kind of laser focused on buyers, not just browsers, you actually notice a very big shift. Right? Your audience might get smaller, but your business will definitely grow much faster. Okay, now imagine this. Instead of waking up every day and wondering why your content isn't converting, you have a content system that actually attracts and brings in the right leads. Okay, leads who already understand your value. Leads who book calls with you, who show up already pre-sold, and who are already to invest at premium prices because they actually saw the exact person, right? Or they saw you as the exact person who can solve their problem, right? And that's exactly what I help my clients build: a content strategy that doesn't just get likes, but actually drives revenue and sales for their business sustainably, right? So if you're an online coach, consultant, or service provider who's tired of making content that doesn't convert, and you want to finally attract high-paying clients consistently, I invite you to book a call with me using the link in the description. And on that call, we'll actually dive deeper into what your current strategy is, and then audit who you're attracting right now. And then from there, we'll map out a clear plan to turn your content into clients, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much content you create, it's about how effective your content is at attracting the right people. Okay, well, that's enough from me. All right, take care.